Hello and welcome to Finextra. I'm Emily Horler and I'm here with Anders Holm of Temenos. And we're at Next Gen Banking Nordics 2016 in Helsinki. Thank you for joining me.
Welcome.
How does Agile implementation differ from traditional approaches?
Agile implementation has the advantage that you can actually change the implementation as you go along. You don't have to work with already upfront written requirements. You can actually develop the requirements in your Scrum teams, in your Agile way of working as you go along, as opposed to traditional waterfall implementations, where you actually usually respond to an RFP. This gives you the advantage to bring you closer to the implementation, it brings you closer to the requirements, and usually these long-term implementations requirements are changing over time. What you actually set out to do in the beginning has changed 2 or 3 years later on into the lifetime of the implementation.
And what does Agile implementation demand from all the different players involved in a project?
It requires a more flexible approach. It requires a delivery organization with the client, in this case the bank, that is much more vibrant. It requires different skill sets such as Agile coaching, different ways of working. You don't work with the concept of a project manager, you actually work with an Agile coach that gives you inspiration of different ways of working. So it gives you a lot of challenges, but it also brings you much closer to the end product as opposed to the preset requirements.
So what are the pros and cons?
The pros of an Agile implementation is that you can actually test your code much sooner. You can actually get presentations and you can get clients real-life tests where you can run through the new functionality with the end customer, and you can amend it and you can change it as you go along. That's a big advantage because the live audience, being the customer at the end of the day, gets a much more precise response to their descriptions and to their requirements that they have made up front. It gives you a more higher rate of success, and when you are in a very digitalized environment where things are changing very rapidly. The cons, if there are any in an Agile implementation, is that you need to have a very good steer on your progress. As opposed to a standard waterfall implementation, you don't have specific requirements that you develop to. Here you actually develop them as you go along. That means that you have to make sure that you actually move towards a target as you go along. So you need to have a very good project steer as you go along.
Anders, thank you very much.
Welcome.
And thank you for watching.